There's a department on every major cruise line whose entire job is to say yes to things you never knew you could ask for. Most people sail their whole lives and never call it once. Not because they did anything wrong, nobody hands you the number. It's the small stuff: a fridge for your insulin, a quieter table you can hear across, a bag of laundry that was already free. After years on the crew side of that desk, I started keeping a list. 13 of them, and the last one has a deadline on it, one that's different on every line you might sail. Number 1, the desk nobody calls. Before we start, let me answer the thing somebody always writes in the comments. Some of these are going to sound like they'd help anybody, not just people our age. Fair enough. So here's the rule I used for this list. Every one of these lands differently after 60 because of hearing or medication or what it actually costs you to lift a suitcase. General cruise advice didn't make the cut. Right. Every major line runs a desk whose only job is special requests. Royal Caribbean routes it through a guest special needs form. Norwegian calls theirs the access desk. Holland America splits it. Everyday requests go to ship services on 800-411-576. Those numbers have been sitting on their websites the whole time. In all my years, I don't think I met more than a handful of passengers who'd ever dialed one, because everyone assumes that a desk is for wheelchairs. It isn't. It handles medical diets, refrigeration, equipment in your room, the things the person selling you the cabin has no authority to promise. The booking agent sells you the room. This desk makes the room work. Only one of them can write it into your reservation. That desk fixes big things. This next one takes 90 seconds. Number 2, the dinner table. Your table gets assigned before you board by a computer that knows your booking number and absolutely nothing else about you. It doesn't know you wear hearing aids. It doesn't know that a round table of 10 beside the service station is, for you, a room where nobody says anything at all. Royal Caribbean puts it plainly. If you want a different time or a different table, you ask the maitre d' at any hospitality desk on embarkation day. Day 1, before the first dinner. Not day 4 when you've already sat through 3 meals smiling at the right moments and catching one word in 5. That was the one that used to get me. Watching someone nod along all week, perfectly happy from the outside, then mention it quietly on the last morning when there was nothing left to do about it. Your defense. Find the dining desk in your first 2 hours aboard before you unpack. Ask for somewhere quieter, not just smaller. The noise is the actual problem. Magic phrase. Could we move to a smaller table away from the service station? Number 3, the fridge in your cabin. Insulin, eye drops, certain biologics. A lot of us now travel with something that has to stay cold. Every major line will sort that out for you. What they charge is where they stop agreeing. Royal Caribbean lists a mini refrigerator as a checkbox on their guest special needs form, with no fee against it. Holland America routes it through the ship's medical center and wants every medication labeled with your name and stateroom number. Carnival won't take it as a checkbox at all. They publish a separate form for exactly this: the diabetes, sharps, medicine storage, and medical care form. And if you don't know it exists by name, you don't know to ask for it. Same insulin, same sentence at the same kind of desk. On one ship, it's a tick in a box. On another, it's a document you had to know the name of before you sailed. Your defense? Ask which form your line uses and get the request in writing weeks ahead. Label every medication with your name and cabin number before you pack. If they say no, ask them to check with the medical center. That's a different department with different stock, and the first person you speak to often doesn't know that. Magic phrase: which form do I use to request medication storage on this ship? Same insulin, same sentence, 2 different answers. It gets stranger. Number 4, the laundry room that isn't there. This one genuinely splits the industry, and it decides which suitcase you pack. Royal Caribbean's own site says that for safety reasons, self-service laundry facilities are not provided on their ships. They won't put an iron in your stateroom either. They class it as a fire hazard. Holland America says the same. No self-service laundry rooms, full stop. Carnival does the exact opposite, and they're specific about it. Self-service launderettes on the stateroom decks, 2 or 3 washers, 2 or 3 dryers, and an iron and ironing board in each one. Princess runs the same thing, token operated. So picture the identical 14-night itinerary. On one ship, you pack a week of clothes and wash halfway through. On the other, you pack 14 days of everything. That's not a packing preference. It's the difference between a case you can lift and one you can't. Pack for the ship you booked, not the one you remember. Number 6. The thing you left behind. Everybody leaves something. A charger in the socket. A CPAP hose in the bathroom drawer. Reading glasses on the nightstand. Always the reading glasses. What almost nobody knows is that the clock on getting it back isn't the same everywhere. Holland America's contract puts a hard number on it. Property left unclaimed in writing for more than 90 days after you disembark is treated as abandoned, and it becomes theirs. Royal Caribbean and Carnival don't publish a comparable deadline at all, which sounds like the friendlier option right up until you need a date to hold somebody to, and there isn't one. Royal Caribbean also states that anything found gets shipped at your expense, at whatever the courier decides, and that some things can't be posted back to you at all. Your defense: photograph the nightstand, the bathroom shelf, and the wall sockets before you close the door. File the claim the same week. Don't wait politely to see if it surfaces. Money you can replace. Now the money you can get back. Number 7. The price that drops. Retirees book early. That's a genuine advantage. And it also puts you square in the window where the fare moves, usually without a word to you. Royal Caribbean's best price guarantee lets you request a match anytime before final payment or within 24 hours of booking. If it qualifies, they adjust your fare, and if you've already paid, they refund the difference. Carnival's version is narrower. Price protection applies to early saver bookings only, and the difference comes back as an upgrade or onboard credit rather than actual money. Princess runs a claim form with its own window. Same falling price. 3 completely different outcomes. The only certain way to get nothing is to never look. If they say no, ask which guarantee your fare type actually qualifies for. No very often means not under the one I just checked. Magic phrase: I found a lower price for the same ship, dates, and cabin. Can you match it? That's 7, so we're halfway. I'm always curious how many of these people already knew. Drop a number in the comments if you feel like it. I do read them. 6 to go. And there's one coming that's simply free on one ship and costs you a deposit on another for the same request, in the same words, at the same desk. Number 8. The laundry you already paid for. There's a loyalty benefit that gets earned, delivered, and thrown in the bin inside an hour. Holland America includes normal laundry and pressing for qualifying Mariner members, dry cleaning, and express stay chargeable. Norwegian's is easier to miss entirely. The Latitude's laundry voucher comes in the welcome back card, handed to your stateroom on embarkation day. Not the app, not an email. A card on the busiest afternoon of your trip in a pile with the daily program and a leaflet about the spa. We handed those out by the 100. Most of them were in the bin before dinner, unopened by people who'd earned them over 15 years of sailing. Your defense: open every card left in your cabin on day 1 before anything goes in the bin. Tier member and no voucher turned up? Ask guest services. Don't assume you don't qualify. Vouchers expire. Status doesn't, and it travels further than you'd think. Number 9. The status that travels. 20 years of loyalty to one line feels like something you forfeit the moment you try a different ship. Increasingly, you don't. Royal Caribbean Group runs a 1-for-1 tier match across Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, and Silversea. You need to be enrolled in each brand's program, and it takes up to 7 days to come through. Norwegian's parent company does it across Latitudes, the Oceania Club, and the Seven Seas Society, matching you to the closest corresponding level. Theirs runs per cruise rather than permanently, and it wants asking at least 10 days before you sail. So that's a decade of status you can carry onto a ship you've never set foot on. Priority boarding, dining access, tier perks, instead of walking up that gangway being treated like it's your first time. That's what they give you. Next is what they take away. Number 10. The morning you choose. Disembarkation. Morning comes in two versions, and most people only ever get the worst one. Bags outside the door the night before, then a lounge waiting for somebody to call a color. Royal Caribbean's self-assist lets you keep your luggage in the room overnight, skip the tags, and walk off when you decide to. But there's a line in their own policy that matters far more than the convenience, and it's the line nobody reads. Wheelchair assistance cannot be provided for the self-assist program. Read that twice, because it's the trap. The option that looks kindest to a tired traveler is the one that quietly removes the help. If you can't carry every bag yourself down a ramp, the slower morning is the one that takes care of you. Your defense: self-assist. Only if you can genuinely manage all of it unaided. Needing assistance? Take the standard departure. The wait is what buys you the help. Now the part where somebody very pleasant asks you for money. Number 11. The deposit that disappears. Somewhere around day 5, someone very pleasant is going to find you and invite you to put a small deposit on a future cruise. It's usually a good deal. It's also where the lines quietly disagree about your money. Royal Caribbean's next cruise deposit is $200 per stateroom, and their own terms say plainly that it is non-refundable. Princess's future cruise deposit is $100 per person, and their site says it's fully refundable right up until final payment. MSC sits with Royal Caribbean. Down and gone. Plans change more at our age than they used to. A knee, a date that moves. A grandchild's wedding, nobody is scheduled around you. Whether that costs you nothing or $200 was decided before you ever walked into that room. Magic phrase: is this deposit refundable if I cancel before final payment? What happens when the thing at stake isn't money, but a date? Number 12. The kitchen deadline. A medical diet isn't a preference, and a galley cannot invent one at 8 in the evening. Princess asks for dietary restrictions and allergies ideally 90 days before you sail. 90. Holland America splits it by severity, and the split is the part that matters. An intolerance that isn't life-threatening goes to ship services, by phone. A life-threatening allergy needs details submitted to guest accessibility on a formal special requirements form. Here's the bit that catches people. Telling your waiter on the first night is not the same as being in the system. Low sodium after a heart procedure, a diabetic plan, a soft diet after surgery, none of that is being difficult, and none of it reaches the kitchen by being mentioned politely over a menu. Your defense: put the dietary call in the calendar the day you book, not the month you sail. Use the words medical and life-threatening if they're true. The language changes where the request goes. Magic phrase: I need to submit a special requirements form for a medical diet. 90 days for the kitchen. There's one more clock running. Number 13. The calendar. Nobody matches. This is the one I'd want my own mother to know, because it's the only one where doing everything right still isn't enough. Royal Caribbean asks for 30 days notice for special equipment or services, and 60 days for sign language interpreting. Norwegian's access desk asks 45 days for other needs, and 90 days for interpreters. Double. So picture yourself ringing 6 weeks out. Organized, ahead of it, rather pleased with yourself if we're honest. On Royal Caribbean, you're comfortably in time. In Norwegian, you missed the interpreter window by a fortnight, and the answer is no. Not because anybody was unkind, but because the calendar closed while you were still being early. This is the one I could never fix from behind that desk. Everything else on this list has somebody you can ask. This one just has a date that already passed, which is exactly why number 1 matters. A phone number is worth nothing on the day you finally need it. Your defense: Assume the longest window you've seen, 90 days, and count backwards from your sale date. Get your line's deadline confirmed in writing. There is no industry standard here. None of this is about being demanding. Nobody wants to be the passenger who arrives with a list. But there's a real difference between asking for special treatment and asking for the thing the cruise line already wrote down and simply never mentioned to you. Every item today came off an official page. It was always there. It was just never handed to you. So pick one. The one that made you sit up. Make that call before you sail, while it still costs you nothing but a phone call. And if you want the rest of what the lines already owe you, the one on your screen now is 12 services they have to provide seniors. And most people never ask for a single one. See you on the next one.